to go into the classical field rather than into jazz or even popular music. And it just so happened that if I was to be in classical music, my idols were number one, Roland Hayes, who came on the scene. It was Paul Robeson, and then Marian Anderson, and then Dorothy Maynor. And these people were, to me, my idols. They were the people that I wanted to sing like or have a career like. Paul Robeson more as the man and what he represented, and Marian Anderson as the extreme vocal artist, and of course Roland Hayes, who was the first one of us that really made inroads into classical music with his singing in Europe and German, French, Italian, the whole bit. And that's where my interest started, and then they continued right straight through, and finally I became had my concert debut. Now what happened after that is a tremendous change. I was thrown into the limelight, and then a movie came, Showboat, and Old Man River, and international visibility, then Porgy and Bess, the folk opera. And by the time opera opened its doors to blacks was not until the mid-50s. And if you remember, even then, Rudolph Bing let Marian Anderson, as a token, be the first to do Ulrika in the masked ball. And that was in the mid-50s. But by that time, my career was pretty well started into classical music, opera, not opera, but oratorio, appearances with orchestras, the movie, Porgy and Bess. And so I never really embraced opera totally, but of course, we've been on the fringes of it and had done what we call concert versions of things. I even did a concert version of Aida and a concert version of Boris Godunov in Russian and things like that. But my main field remained concerts and anything related to the theater.
As a concert singer, what is the, well, I don't guess there is an average day, but how do you go about your day in preparation? I mean, how do you go about preparing for your next concert or what? I mean,
well,
give us
number
that
one, there's a tremendous amount of preparation for a concert or an operatic career. Right now, when youngsters come to me, they're really training to be opera stars because nowadays, if you have a reputation in opera, then you can do as many concerts as you please. Take a person like Pavarotti, who's the world tenor. It's because of opera, and he can fill a stadium for a concert after that. But then he did not go into his career to do concert. It was opera, and opera is the big thing. In this country now, for instance, we used to have just a few cities that had opera houses, and now there are opera houses all over, everywhere. Dallas, you name it, have opera coming up. And there is talent with the youngsters who are training for this, black and white. And that's where the big emphasis is now. But when I came along, especially for blacks, it was the concert field, and as I said, people like Marian Anderson, Paul Robeson, Roland Hayes were our models.
Very good. And of course, we're coming up, Mr. Warfield, to our first commercial break within the next minute. And this is the information that we wanted you to give us about your background and your education and your experiences and et cetera. And of course, after we have our first commercial break, we'll talk about some other aspects of your life. More specifically, we'll talk about some of the real reasons that perhaps brought you to town today, and that has to do with the 100th anniversary of the celebration of Duke Ellington's birthday. And I'm sure that you've got a lot of statements to make in reference to that.
Oh, sure.
We've got about 30 seconds coming up, and we didn't want to start you talking about the 100th anniversary, then at the same time have to break that up. But that's essentially what we want to do. We want to try, and I think you're giving us essentially what we sought to achieve, and that is a fairly good idea of the man himself, Mr. Warfield. And of course, we'll take this first commercial break, and we'll be back with you following this commercial break.